equity and access are incredibly, incredibly important. So we'll start by talking about financial equity. Now, not all public schools have the resources and support that the school that I went to, or even some of these really, really prestigious public schools that have strong alumni bases with local school foundations or PTA organizations that provide hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to supplement programming. Now, in those cases, it's really, really important that as we expose students to these opportunities, as we introduce them to things like robotics, like chemistry, as they're doing labs and having the opportunity to play with fancy equipment that only schools can buy or get their hands on, it's also important to remember that students only spend a certain amount of hours at school during the day, but for a lot of our students, they do have responsibilities that pull them out of school immediately after school to pick up siblings, to babysit, to help out around the house. But there's still kids that have the same interest and passion in robotics like the kids in Joel's pictures. So how do we design and create programs that are accessible to all students everywhere? So Joel mentioned the platform Arduino, and you'll see in probably half the pictures that I have on my slides, there'll be these little Arduino boards, which are really, really, really powerful and low-cost programmable electronics boards that allow you to do almost anything. They're basically like little mini computers. You can use them for robotics. You can connect pH probes for $1 or $2 and use them in your chemistry class or biology class. You can put little photo sensors on them and use them in your physics class. They can be used for almost anything. Now, when we launched this mechatronics class in Joel's classroom, initially, we were only using these tools within the classroom. But fortunately, after the first year, we did an experiment, and we decided that we would buy enough kits for every student to take home. And they're inexpensive. They're only about maybe $30 or so per kit. We leveraged Donors Choose to get them donated to the classroom. And we started to see remarkable things within the students. So typically, they would have to sit in class, they'd do a project, and they'd wait for Joel, myself, or a teaching assistant to come around to sign their sheet to see that they did it, to check their code, and move them along. But once the students started working on the projects at home, once they had the materials in their hands to work whenever they wanted, we started getting emails from students at 1, 2 o'clock at night, or in the morning, on a Friday or Saturday, of kids sitting in their living room in the Bronx, surrounded by siblings and cereal boxes and all of the chaos within their apartment. And the joy and look on their face and the people around them to see the work that they were doing was so, so powerful. Those pumpkins that you saw, those weren't a first-year project. But by the time we were able to put the tools in the hands of the kids so that they could work independently at home, the quality of the work also improved. So finding ways to make sure that the tools that you use in your classroom, whether they be online resources, hardware, physical materials, the more that we can shift away from these proprietary sort of science kit type of companies and shift to lower cost, open source the materials, the more work product we'll get from our students.